Treasure by Bruno Mars was released in 2012 as a part of the Unorthodox Jukebox album, and it was added to the Just Dance Mythos in 2023's Just Dance 2024 edition. It has a difficulty rating of medium, an effort rating of moderate, 2 gold moves. The pictogram color is strong red, the glove color is purple, and it has pictograms. Treasure is the 6th song by Bruno Mars in the series. However, this is the 7th song in the entire franchise if you count Just the Way You Are from Just Dance Kids 2 and the Smurfs Dance Party. The official clean version of the song is used in-game, which just removes the first line of the song. Let's begin with the song itself. I love this era of Bruno Mars. You can like Finesse, that's fine. If you like Finesse, you're perfectly valid. However, this is the Bruno Mars that I care about. And you're also allowed to like That's What I Like Bruno Mars. You know, I like the slowed down version of That's What I Like also. However, Treasure, this is peak Bruno Mars for me, except the beginning and the unclean version, because that's just unnecessary, man. Baby Squirrel, Use a Sexy Motherfucker has nothing to do with the song. I'm sorry, it didn't need to be added. I'm also very glad that they were able to fit this into the current narrative that they have with the dance verses, considering Dance with the Swan is about the swan and taking over. I'm not going to explain the whole story. I already made a video about that, which you should check out. Although they did have to remove the heavy context of romance, which is a bit of a complaint that I've seen rolling around, and how people don't want songs like Grenade if it's going to be included in the dance verse narrative in 2025 edition, which is fair because that song is also very heavily on romance, so recontextualizing it would just kind of ruin it. I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I like that song and I wanted to Just Dance, so whatever has to be done, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the song's great, but I should actually talk about this Just Dance map. Let's begin with the background of the map. The song starts in Swan Tower with Jack Rose looking far ahead, as Wonderlust tries to contact him. He is intercepted by Night Swan. As Jad looks at his reflection in the water, his mother enchants the water, with his reflection turning into that of his mother's more successful self as the song title appears behind the coach. The room of the mirror seen in Locked Out of Heaven remains the same, but is now more brightly colored, and the crowd seen in the chorus is entirely replaced with replicas of Jack Rose. More replicas can be seen singing and dancing with him at certain points. During the second verse and bridge, Jack is now in an alley featuring a giant fan, 2 windows on the side, lots of tubes, and some stairs in the air. The song ends with the illusion fading as the real Jack Rose watches, seemingly confused as the routine ends. Like I said, they had to recontextualize the meaning of the original song for it to fit with the dance versus narrative. So reusing the same general location of Locked Out of Heaven, but sprucing it up to fit with the illusion that Night Swan is trying to give her son is pretty interesting. Like, who would think of something like that? I certainly wouldn't. And yes, it is a bit of a reuse, but I feel like they've made enough edits to it that it warrants being graded on its own. So I'm gonna give it a perfect, because I like the shininess. It's really shiny. It's not gonna get a yeah because sometimes I play this game in the dark or late at night and I don't need that much brightness during those times, but it's not something they can control over there in Ubisoft land. Now let's move on to the appearance of the coach. The dancer is an illusion of Jack Rose, representing his dark form, created by his mother Night Swan. His appearance has undergone a few changes. Instead of his combed burgundy hair, this Jack now has slicked back jet black hair with a magenta streak, and his pink feather boa has swapped shoulders, and is mostly black with a few magenta feathers. Both of those elements resemble that of the Night Swans. His gloves have been switched, with his dark velvet gloves now being worn on his left hand and his gold glove on his right. Beyond these changes, the rest of his appearance has been kept the same. So yeah, it's mostly the same coach and probably the same guy doing the performance. And considering how Jack's friends got almost completely redesigned with their darker aesthetics, it's kind of weird that Night Swan didn't go all the way with her own son. Or maybe that's a blessing in disguise, as Night Swan is saying that you don't have to change that much to join me. And I really like the detail of the glove colors changing. That is really cool. But it is still mostly a reuse, so I'm gonna give it a good. And finally, let's move on to the gold moves. There are 2 in this routine. In the first gold move, you slide forward and push your arms out. In the second gold move, you throw your hands over your head. The first gold move comes at a very climactic part of the song, however, it is also a reuse. And the last one is super easy, and it's just one at the end. So I'm gonna give the first gold move a good and the other one an okay. Boring. Overall, Locked Out of Heaven gets a super. Do you have any suggestions? Leave one down below, and adios.